The fork clattered against the porcelain plate, echoing through the tense silence of the dining room in their suburban Chicago home. Linus's heart pounded like a war drum as he stared at his parents. The words he'd rehearsed 100 times finally spilling out, "I'm gay." His father's face twisted into a mask of disbelief and rage, the vein in his temple throbbing visibly, while his mother gasped, her hand flying to her mouth as if to stifle a scream. In that moment, Linus felt the weight of every unspoken fear crash down on him. Why did I choose tonight? He thought, his mind racing back to the countless nights he'd lain awake, imagining this very scene. The family dinner had seemed like the right time. Everyone together, the aroma of roast chicken still lingering, but now it felt like a trap he'd set for himself. His father, Robert, a stern accountant with a reputation for unyielding principles, slammed his fist on the table. "No son of mine is going to live like that," he barked, his voice laced with a fury that cut deeper than any knife. Linus's sister, Emily, sat frozen, her eyes darting between them, while his mother, Linda, whispered pleas for calm that went unheard. Linus's thoughts swirled in turmoil. I've hidden this for so long, pretending to date girls in high school, laughing at jokes that made my stomach turn. But meeting Jamie changed everything. Jamie, with his easy smile and quiet strength, had shown him what it meant to feel truly seen. Their relationship had started innocently enough. A study group in college that turned into late-night talks, then stolen kisses in the shadows of the campus library. Now, at 22, Linus couldn't bear the lie anymore. But as his father's words hung in the air, accusing him of betrayal, of weakness, Linus wondered if honesty was worth this devastation. Robert stood up abruptly, his chair scraping against the hardwood floor. "You think you can just announce this and expect us to accept it? This family has values, Linus. We've raised you better than this." His voice cracked slightly, a flicker of something unspoken in his eyes that Linus couldn't place. Was it pain? Regret? Linus pushed back, his own anger rising. "Raised me better? You mean raised me to hide who I am? To live in fear of your judgment?" The argument escalated, words flying like arrows. Linda tried to intervene, her tears flowing freely now. "Please, both of you, stop. We can talk about this." But Robert stormed out, slamming the door to his study, leaving the room in shattered quiet. Linus retreated to his old bedroom upstairs, the one he'd left behind for college dorms, but now felt like a cage. Slumping onto the bed, he replayed the scene in his mind. What did I expect? Applause? Understanding? No, but maybe not this outright rejection. His phone buzzed, Jamie, checking in. "How'd it go?" the text read. Linus's fingers hovered over the screen, unsure how to respond. Terrible, he thought, but at least it's out. Or is it? The doubt gnawed at him. Had he just destroyed his family for a love that society still whispered about in hushed tones? The pressure from his conservative upbringing, the church sermons on morality, the friends who drifted away when rumors started. It all piled on, making his chest tight. That night, sleep evaded him. He tossed and turned, his mind a battlefield of conflicting emotions. Part of him regretted the outburst, wishing he could take it back and return to the facade of normalcy. But another part, the one that had bloomed under Jamie's affection, refused to retreat. Love isn't a choice, he reminded himself, but telling them was. And now the consequences loomed like storm clouds. Downstairs, he heard muffled voices, his parents arguing. What are they saying? He wondered, straining to listen. Linda's sobs, Robert's gruff replies. It was all because of him. The next morning, the house felt like a war zone. Breakfast was silent, save for the clink of utensils. Emily shot him sympathetic glances, but said nothing. Robert avoided eye contact, burying himself in the newspaper. Linus decided to confront him again. Alone. "Dad, we need to talk," he said, following Robert into the garage where he tinkered with his old car. Robert sighed, wiping grease from his hands. "What's there to say? You've made your choice." Linus pressed on. "It's not a choice. It's who I am." Robert's face hardened, but there was a hesitation, a crack in his armor. You don't know what you're getting into, son. The world isn't kind to people like that. Linus's frustration boiled over. People like me, you mean? Why can't you just say it? Robert turned away, muttering about how things were different in his day. But Linus caught a glimpse of something in his father's eyes. Guilt? It lingered in his mind as he left for work, a part-time job at a local bookstore. There, amidst the shelves of stories about love and loss, he confided in his coworker, Sarah. It was a disaster, he admitted. She nodded empathetically. Give them time. Families surprise you sometimes. But Linus doubted it. His father's reaction felt too personal, too visceral. As the day wore on, Linus's thoughts drifted to Jamie. They met for coffee after his shift, Jamie's hand squeezing his under the table. I'm proud of you, Jamie said softly. It took guts. Linus forced a smile, but inside, the turmoil raged. What if this costs me everything? My family, my home? Jamie's optimism clashed with his fears, creating a rift even in his own heart. That evening, back home, Emily pulled him aside. Dad's been weird all day, she whispered, like really upset, not just angry. Linus nodded, sensing there was more to uncover. Little did he know the real shock was yet to come. The tension in the house thickened like fog over Lake Michigan, suffocating every interaction. Linus avoided his father, sticking to polite nods and brief exchanges, but the unspoken words hung heavy. Inside, his mind was a storm. Why does Dad hate this so much? Is it me or something deeper? He replayed childhood memories, Robert's strict rules, the emphasis on being a man, the disdain for anything that deviated from the norm. It all made sense now, but it hurt more. Jamie suggested a weekend getaway to clear his head, but Linus hesitated. I can't just run away, he said over the phone, pacing his room. This is my family. Jamie's voice was gentle. You deserve to breathe, Linus. They've had years to shape you. Now it's your turn. The words resonated, but guilt twisted in his gut. Am I abandoning them or saving myself? The internal battle waged on, each side pulling harder. At dinner that night, the facade cracked further. Linda tried to steer conversation to neutral topics, work, weather, but Robert's brooding silence dominated. Finally, Emily broke it. Dad, why are you so against this? Linus is still Linus. Robert's fork paused midair, his eyes flashing. Because it's wrong, that's why. It's not natural. Linus's blood boiled. Wrong according to who? You. He pushed his chair back, ready to leave, but Robert's next words stopped him cold. You have no idea what it's like out there. The judgment, the loss. There was a raw edge to his voice, something vulnerable that Linus had never heard before. Later, alone in his study, Robert stared at an old photo album, his fingers tracing faded pictures. Why now? He thought, a wave of regret washing over him. He'd buried his past so deep, convinced it was the right choice. But seeing Linus's pain mirrored his own long-forgotten struggles. I can't let him go through what I did. Or can I? The hypocrisy gnawed at him, a secret he'd guarded for decades. Linus couldn't shake his father's words. They felt too personal, like echoes of a hidden story. He confided in Jamie during a late-night walk in the park. It's like he's speaking from experience, Linus said, his voice trembling. Jamie squeezed his hand. Maybe he is. People project their fears. The idea planted a seed of doubt, blooming into obsession. What if Dad's anger is masking something? The thought terrified and intrigued him. The next day, while helping Linda clean the attic, Linus stumbled upon an old box labeled college stuff. Curiosity piqued. He opened it, finding letters, photos, and a journal. His heart raced as he flipped through the pages. Entries from the 1980s, Robert's handwriting young and fervent. One caught his eye. Met David today. He's different. Makes me feel alive. Linus's breath hitched. David? Who was David? He read on, the words blurring with shock. Descriptions of secret meetings, stolen moments, the thrill and terror of forbidden feelings. No, this can't be, Linus thought, his mind reeling. Dad? Gay? Or at least, questioning. The journal detailed the internal conflict, family expectations, societal pressure, the fear of rejection. Robert had chosen to suppress it, marrying Linda, building a normal life. But the pain seeped through every line. Linus felt a mix of betrayal and empathy. How could he hide this? Preach against it? The discovery fueled a fire in him, but also a profound sadness. Confrontation loomed. That evening, Linus waited until Emily and Linda were out shopping. Dad, I found something, he said, holding the journal. Robert's face paled. Where did you get that? Linus pressed. It's yours, isn't it? About David. Robert sank into his chair, defeated. That was a long time ago. A mistake. But his eyes told a different story, regret, not denial. The conversation unraveled like a thread pulled too tight. Robert admitted to a brief romance in college, ended by fear. I chose family stability. You should too. Linus's anger surged. Chose? You mean hid. And now you judge me. Robert's voice broke. I was protecting you from the hurt I knew. But Linus saw the lie. The protection was for himself. Inside, Robert wrestled with his choices. Was it worth it? The life I'd built versus the truth I'd buried? Linus stormed out, calling Jamie. My dad's a hypocrite, he vented. Jamie listened but cautioned. Maybe he's scared for you. The words only deepened Linus's turmoil. Empathy clashed with rage, leaving him torn. How do I forgive this? Or do I? The family secret threatened to shatter everything, pushing the drama to new heights. The revelation hung over the house like a guillotine, ready to drop. Linus couldn't look at his father without a storm of emotions. Betrayal, confusion, pity. How long has he lived this lie? Linus wondered, his nights now filled with restless thoughts. The journal's words haunted him. Robert's descriptions of love suppressed, dreams deferred. It mirrored his own fears, but amplified by decades of denial. Linda sensed the shift, her worry lines deepening. What's going on between you two? She asked Linus one morning over coffee. He hesitated, the weight of the secret pressing down. Should I tell her? Destroy her world too? Just talking things through. He lied, guilt twisting inside. But the deception ate at him, echoing his father's hypocrisy. Robert, meanwhile, grappled with resurfaced demons. The journal's exposure felt like a wound reopened. Why didn't I burn it? He thought, staring at the ceiling in the dark. Memories of David flooded back. The laughter, the passion, the abrupt end when family pressure mounted. It's a phase, his own father had said, forcing him into a mold. Now, seeing Linus fight for authenticity, Robert questioned his path. Was my sacrifice noble or cowardly? The internal conflict intensified, eroding his resolve. Emily noticed the undercurrents, pulling Linus aside. Dad's been drinking more and crying. I heard him. Linus's heart ached. It's complicated, he said, but shared fragments of the truth. Emily's eyes widened. Dad? No way. Her shock mirrored his own, but she urged reconciliation. Talk to him. Really talk. Linus nodded, but doubt lingered. Can words fix decades of damage? The confrontation came unexpectedly. Robert knocked on Linus's door late one night. We need to discuss this, he said, voice hoarse. Linus let him in, the air thick with tension. Why did you hide it? Linus demanded. Robert sighed, sitting on the bed's edge. Back then, in the 80s, it was different. AIDS scare, no rights, families disowning sons. I chose safety. Linus countered. Safety or fear? And now you expect me to do the same. Robert's eyes filled with tears. I don't want you to suffer like I did. The admission cracked something in Linus. Suffer? You've been suffering in silence. Empathy surged, but so did anger. Your suffering doesn't justify condemning mine. Robert nodded slowly. You're right. I was wrong. But the words felt hollow, tainted by years of judgment. Inside, Linus battled forgiveness versus resentment. He's my father, but this betrayal cuts deep. Jamie became his anchor, meeting him at a quiet cafe. This is huge, Jamie said, holding his hand. But it explains a lot. Linus nodded, tears welling. I feel sorry for him, but furious too. Jamie's support grounded him, yet stirred new fears. What if our love faces the same pressures? The societal whispers, the family fractures. Could they endure? Linda's discovery was inevitable. Overhearing a heated exchange, she demanded answers. What's this about David? Robert confessed everything, his voice breaking. Linda's face crumpled. All these years. Why? Betrayal etched her features. I thought we had honesty. Robert pleaded. I loved you. I still do. But the damage was done. Linda stormed out, leaving Robert shattered. Why did I build my life on sand? He thought, alone in the silence. The family splintered further. Emily mediated, but tensions boiled. Linus felt responsible. My coming out started this chain. Guilt consumed him, clashing with his resolve to live authentically. At work, distractions failed. Thoughts of home invaded every moment. Sarah noticed. You look wrecked. He confided partially. Family secrets. Her advice. Face them head-on. But the emotional toll mounted, each day heavier than the last. In a moment of clarity, Linus wrote a letter to his father, pouring out his heart. I understand your fear, but I won't repeat it. Delivering it felt like a step toward healing, but uncertainty loomed. Will he listen, or double down? The drama escalated. Emotions rawer, stakes higher. The fractures in the family deepened, each member navigating a minefield of emotions. Linda moved to the guest room, her silence a louder accusation than words. Robert's guilt festered, his mind a relentless prosecutor. You lied to her, to everyone. How can you fix this? Sleepless nights brought confessions to empty rooms. Regrets whispered into the void. He considered therapy, but pride held him back. Am I too old to change? Linus watched his mother's pain, his own heart torn. I caused this, he thought, the burden crushing. But Jamie reminded him. You revealed the truth they needed. Still doubt plagued him. Was coming out selfish or necessary? The internal war raged, amplified by societal echoes, news of hate crimes, political debates on rights. It all felt personal now, a mirror to his turmoil. Emily organized a family meeting, forcing them together. We can't go on like this, she said, her voice steady despite tears. Linda spoke first, her words laced with hurt. I feel like our marriage was a lie. Robert reached for her hand, but she pulled away. It wasn't. I chose you because I loved you. But the revelation of his past affair, emotional, if not physical, shattered trust. Linus interjected. Dad, you can't have it both ways. Accept me, or admit your hypocrisy. Robert's defense crumbled. I was scared. For all of us. The argument intensified, voices rising. Linda accused Robert of emotional cowardice. You let fear dictate our lives. Linus piled on. And now you're doing it to me. Emily pleaded for calm, but the dam broke. Robert admitted more. I ended it with David because my father threatened to cut me off. I regretted it every day. The vulnerability hung raw, exposing layers of pain. Inside, Linda wrestled with forgiveness. Do I stay for the man I know, or leave for the truth he hid? Linus's empathy grew, but so did resolve. This isn't just about him. It's about us all. He confided in Jamie later, tears streaming. It's like peeling an onion. More layers of hurt. Jamie held him. But you're strong. We'll get through. Their bond, tested by the chaos, deepened. Yet Linus feared the fallout. What if Mom leaves? What if Dad resents me forever? A turning point came when Robert sought Linus out privately. I want to understand, he said, voice trembling. They talked for hours, Robert sharing stories of his youth. The secrecy, the shame. Linus listened, his anger softening. I get it, Dad, but times are changing. Robert nodded. Maybe I can change too. The moment felt hopeful but fragile. Is this real or just words? Linus wondered. Linda's decision loomed. She met with a friend for advice, returning with clarity. I need time, she told Robert. The separation, even temporary, hit like a blow. Robert's isolation deepened, his thoughts darker. Have I lost everything? The price of his past choices crystallized a heavy toll. Linus threw himself into advocacy, joining a local LGBT group. Their stories of others' struggles mirrored his, fueling determination. But home remained a battlefield. A heated call from extended family. Rumors spreading. Added pressure. What will people think? An aunt demanded. Linus's defiance grew. Why care about their judgment? Yet it stung, echoing societal biases. Jamie's support wavered under the strain. This is affecting us too, he admitted. Linus's fear spiked. Am I losing him? The thought amplified his emotional chaos, pushing him toward a breaking point. The drama peaked, every choice laced with consequence. The family's wounds festered, healing slow and painful. Robert attended a support group for parents of LGBT kids, his first step toward redemption. But inside, shame battled progress. Am I worthy of forgiveness? Sessions unearthed buried emotions, forcing confrontations with his past self. He wrote letters to David, never sent, purging regrets. The process humbled him, but the road was long. Linda's time away brought introspection. Staying at her sister's, she questioned everything. Was our love real or convenient? Memories of happy years clashed with betrayal's sting. She returned sporadically, conversations tentative. I want to try, she told Robert one evening, tears in her eyes. But trust rebuilt brick by brick, each one heavy with doubt. Linus navigated the fallout, his relationship with Jamie strained by the constant drama. I feel like I'm losing you to this, Jamie confessed during a heated argument. Linus's heart clenched. Am I sacrificing us for family reconciliation? The guilt compounded, his mind a whirlwind of priorities. He chose to fight for both, planning a dinner with Jamie invited. It's time they meet you, he said, nerves raw. The evening arrived, tension palpable. Jamie's presence amplified everything. Robert's awkward attempts at civility, Linda's forced smiles. Conversation stumbled, but a breakthrough came when Jamie shared his own coming-out story. My parents disowned me at first, but we reconciled. Robert listened intently, his walls cracking further. How did you forgive? He asked. Jamie's reply, by seeing their fear as love misguided. Linus watched, hope flickering. Maybe this can work. But setbacks followed. A family gathering turned sour when cousins whispered judgments. Robert defended Linus fiercely. He's my son, and I support him. The words, once unimaginable, marked growth. Yet inside Robert doubted. Am I convincing them or myself? The public stance cost friendships, mirroring the isolation he'd feared. Emily's role evolved, becoming the glue. We're stronger for this, she encouraged. But her own emotions surfaced, resentment at the family's focus shifting. What about me? She vented to Linus. His apology deepened their bond, but highlighted the ripple effects. Everyone pays a price, he realized. Jamie's patience waned, leading to a near breakup. I love you, but this chaos. Linus pleaded. Give me time. The ultimatum forced reflection. Is love worth the fight? He chose yes, recommitting. Their reconciliation, intimate yet chaste, reaffirmed his path. Robert's full acceptance came gradually. A heartfelt talk with Linus. I'm proud of you for being brave where I wasn't. Tears flowed, bridging decades of divide. Linda, witnessing, softened. We can rebuild. The family, scarred but united, moved forward. Yet questions lingered. Linus pondered the moral maze. Suppression versus authenticity, fear versus freedom. Society's progress clashed with persistent biases, leaving him vigilant.